This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
All right, checking in now with Lady Flame Swimming and Diving coach Jake Schellenberger as we look ahead to the meet coming up here in Lynchburg this weekend. Two-day meet, and a lot of teams coming in here to the Natatorium, including BYU. You've got Gardner-Webb, you've got Old Dominion, and Mount St. Mary's, who will be bringing their men's team here. But as we look ahead to this weekend here, how excited are you for this meet coming up?
I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. And, Nick, this is one that I spent a lot of time and energy putting together. Swimming is interesting in that swimming and diving, coaches make their own schedules, which in some ways is easy because you can make your own schedule. In other ways, it's challenging because the conference doesn't make a schedule for you, and you have to go out and pound the pavement, so to speak, to get meets. And so this is one that I thought, hey, with the history of Liberty and how, Dr. Falwell always compared us or wanting to be where BYU is and wanting to be where Notre Dame is, I thought, hey, we have the facility now, top 5 pool in the country. Why don't we see if we can bring BYU out here and host, a team like that in this pool. And BYU is really the first brand name, marquee, FBS-style program to come in here. We've had Virginia Tech and UVA just bring some individuals here and there for some invite meets for our last chance meet. But as a team, bringing in BYU, this is a foreshadowing, if you will, of things to come. Bringing in major P5. I'll consider BYU a P5, even though they're independent. I'll consider them a P5, even national title at P5, So bringing in, those caliber teams to come in here and compete. And, those in the Liberty circles have heard it. Dr. Falwell always said we want to be what BYU is for Mormons and Notre Dame is for Catholics. We want Liberty to be that third tier, that third rung, so, for Protestant Christians. And so we're bringing in BYU, and they're coming here to Lynchburg to compete. First time that a BYU program will compete here on the mountain. And it's historic, and I think if Dr. Falwell were alive today, he was a visionary. He was a dreamer. But could he ever have imagined that BYU swimming and diving would be competing here in a brand new 50-meter natatorium? Maybe he'd have thought football or basketball, but for the swimming and diving program to come out here and compete in a new pool, I'm not sure even he could have saw that coming. So we're excited to have them. They're a measuring stick for us as an entire university. They're kind of who we want to be. And so it'll be good to have them out here. And then, of course, Old Dominion, in-state rival. And after the football game this year, the first one of the year, that rivalry with Old Dominion will certainly grow. And then, fellow CCSA conference foe, Gardner-Webb, and then Mount St. Mary's bringing their men to balance out the fact that we don't have men. So we'll have a quad meet with four women's teams and 4 men's teams.
Yeah, sounds really exciting coming up here this weekend. And so far, your team's off to a great start, 4-0. Win most recently over James Madison. How do you feel about the way your ladies are swimming?
Yeah, we're swimming well, diving well, we're training well, and that's probably the most important thing right now is we're doing really well in practice. Dual meets in October are what they are. You want to win every dual meet, but you don't sacrifice your training in October to win dual meets. So we're racing tired, we're diving tired, but we're stepping up, we're responding well. Amidst heavy training, and we're going out and swimming fast, which is good to see. And we're excited to host this weekend. We've been on the road, and we did that on purpose. We're moving into our new locker rooms. We finished the pool portion last year. We're moving into our new locker rooms this week, the week of the meet. And so I wanted to schedule our first home meet later in the year so we could get the locker rooms done. So brand new, team locker rooms, team lounge, coaches' offices will be over here now. So really excited for that. So I wanted to wait and schedule the first home meet a little bit later. So we've been on the road the first 3 meets, Campbell, New Mexico State, which was a lot of fun. We talked to Peyton about that and, going out and watching the football team and, flying around the country to follow them and then swim. And then JMU. And so, yeah, on the road starting out, we're excited to be home. And it'll be some great competition this weekend.
Lastly, though, how would you gauge your team's success at this point? Obviously, the win-loss record is good, but as you said, training is kind of the more important aspect at this portion of the season. What are some areas that you'd like to see them improve at, or what areas are they excelling at?
Yeah, good question there. We always say that nobody, when you get to February and March, conference championship meet, NC2As, we say that nobody remembers dual meet results from October. So whether we beat James Madison or lose to James Madison, we know that Florida Gulf Coast, who have won our conference meet 4 years in a row, and have won 8 out of the last 9 years, we know they're going to come in here and they want to celebrate in our diving well. We're hosting the meet this year. And so, we try to keep our women grounded. Yes, we beat James Madison, and could we stake a claim to having the 3rd best program in the state behind UVA and Virginia Tech? Yes, probably. But, our conference meet is the prize. NC2As is the prize. And so we try not to get too high or too low after dual meets. Swimming and diving is interesting in that regard. There's a regular season, if you will, but it doesn't determine whether or not you go to the playoffs. And everybody goes to the conference meet, regardless. You could go 0-10 during the regular season and win your conference meet, and it's a great year. And that's just sort of how the sport is. Everything that matters, everything that we do is determined at our conference championship meet. So that's our focus, that's our prize. I think as far as improvement, we can always sleep more. And that's one thing that our strength coaches, our sports nutritionist, Melissa, us as coaches, we've been trying to really hammer is sleep and recovery. We train well. We train really well in the pool, train well in the weight room. We do well academically. And I'll admit, sometimes to do that, to do really well in the pool and do well academically, you have to burn both ends of the night sometimes. Getting up for morning practice, up late studying for tests and so forth. And sleep, as we know, is one of the first things to go. We're trying to work with our women to say, hey, maybe there's some other areas that we could be a little bit better, so we could go to bed a little bit earlier. I think recovery is probably the biggest thing. We train well, we do well in the classroom. It's just finding time to get another hour, even half hour of sleep per day adds up pretty quickly.
All right. Well, Coach, we're looking forward to the meet coming up here this weekend, and appreciate your time.
Excellent, Nick. Thank you.